Some people wait for opportunity their whole life and die waiting. They think one day when I make more money, I'll save, I'll invest, I'll change. But let me tell you something. If you can't save $1 out of 10, you'll never save 100 out of 1,000. The habit doesn't start with income, it starts with intention. The price of waiting is your future. Start where you are, with what you have, and build the discipline that will one day make you free. I've seen people with $100 act rich and people with 100,000 act broke. That's when I realized poverty isn't about money, it's about philosophy. You can have a full wallet and still live in scarcity if your mind is poor. The real poverty begins the moment you stop believing you can change your life. But the moment you decide to learn, to grow, to take charge, that's when wealth begins. Right there, right in your mind. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. You don't need more money, you need a new mindset. I used to think that if I could just earn a little more, life would finally get easier. But here's what I discovered. No matter how much money you make, if you don't change the way you think, you'll always find a way to stay broke. Poverty isn't just the absence of money, it's the absence of vision. It's a mindset that says, as soon as I get more, I'll do better. But the truth is, you have to do better first, then you'll get more. When I was 25, I was broke, not just broke, but embarrassed broke. I owed money, had excuses, and thought the problem was my paycheck. One day my mentor sat me down and said, the problem isn't your income, it's your philosophy. That hit me like a lightning bolt. I realized I'd been waiting for my bank account to change before I changed my thinking. But it doesn't work that way. You change your mind first, and your income eventually follows. Most people spend their lives saying, I can't afford it. That single sentence shuts the mind down. It ends all creativity and all possibility. The wealthy don't say, I can't afford it. They ask, how can I afford it? And that one small change opens the door for ideas, for solutions, for growth. The first phrase ends your story. The second one begins it. The difference between the poor and the wealthy isn't always education or background. It's the questions they ask themselves every day. I used to envy successful people. I'd look at them and say, must be nice to have all that. But envy steals energy. Curiosity builds it. The moment I stopped envying and started studying, things began to shift. I asked, what are they doing differently? What habits do they have that I don't? I started reading their books, listening to their talks, learning their disciplines. Before long, I realized they weren't lucky, they were intentional. They had philosophies that guided their lives, not moods or circumstances. And let's talk about gratitude. It might sound simple, but gratitude is a wealth magnet. Every time you receive $1, be grateful. Not for the amount, but for the opportunity. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and that energy invites more. A complaining mind focuses on lack and gets more lack. A grateful mind focuses on growth and attracts more opportunities. When I started practicing gratitude for every small win, a new client, a good idea, even a lesson from failure, something changed inside me. I began to see abundance everywhere, and that awareness reshaped my decisions. The truth is, the journey from poverty to wealth doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your philosophy. You can't earn your way out of a poor mindset. You must think your way out. The person who says, I'll change when I get more money, will never get more money. But the one who says, I'll change now and more will come, always finds a way. Change your thoughts and you'll change your income. Because the mind builds the future long before the hands ever do. Discipline is the bridge between low income and financial freedom. You can stand on one side of that bridge, wishing, hoping, dreaming, but until you start walking across with daily discipline, nothing changes. Most people think money solves financial problems. It doesn't. If you hand a person with poor habits a large sum of money, they'll lose it just as fast as they got it. But if you hand a disciplined person even a modest income, they'll find a way to make it grow. Because discipline, not income, is the real foundation of wealth. When I was 25, I earned pennies compared to what I dreamed of making. My mentor looked me in the eye and said, "If you can't manage what little you have now, you'll never manage abundance later." That wasn't easy to hear. Like most people, I thought, when I make more, then I'll start saving, then I'll start planning. But the truth is, you must start while you're small. If you wait for more to develop discipline, you'll never have more. Discipline has to come first. So I began with something simple. I started writing down every expense for 30 days. At first, I thought it was unnecessary. But by the second week, I began to see my habits in black and white. The late night snacks, the quick coffees, the small leaks in my wallet, they were all there. It was uncomfortable, but that discomfort was the start of awareness, and awareness is always the beginning of change. The act of writing it down made me conscious, and consciousness is power. Then I made a rule: if it's not in the plan, I don't spend it. That one sentence changed everything. It made me think before I acted. It made me question my impulses. I started planning my spending the same way a builder plans a house, on paper before laying a single brick. At first, it felt restrictive, but later, it felt freeing, because discipline doesn't take away freedom, it creates it. The disciplined person wakes up each morning in control, while the undisciplined one wakes up in confusion, wondering where the money went. And here's something I learned along the way: discipline doesn't have to be massive to be meaningful. I began saving $5 a week. That's right, $5. It wasn't much, but it wasn't about the money. It was about the habit. It was about teaching myself to prioritize the future over the moment, over time. That small act built confidence. It proved that I could trust myself with money. That's where financial freedom begins, in the quiet confidence that comes from keeping small promises to yourself. The truth is, discipline will always do more for you than motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes with moods. Discipline, however, is built. It becomes part of your character. When you become the kind of person who keeps track, who plans, who saves, the universe starts to trust you with more. You attract opportunity because you've proven you can handle responsibility. You don't need a bigger paycheck to build wealth. You need stronger habits. Don't wait for more money to start managing what you have. Manage what you have, and more money will come. Discipline is the bridge. Cross it, and you'll never go back. Living below your means isn't about deprivation. It's about preparation. It's the quiet art of building freedom before the world expects you to. Most people live right up to their income, and many live beyond it. They stretch every dollar until it cries for help, and then they wonder why opportunity never seems to knock. The truth is, opportunity rarely visits those who are already stretched to the limit. Freedom begins when your lifestyle is smaller than your income, because that space in between, what I call margin, is where choices live. And choices, my friends, are the seeds of wealth. When I was young, I made the same mistake most people make. I tried to look richer than I was. The nicer car, the better suit, the fancy dinner, it all looked good from the outside, but on the inside, I was trapped. I was working for appearances, not advancement. My mentor once told me, you can't rise above your circumstances while you're still trying to impress people who don't even notice. That hit hard. It made me realize that my ego was expensive and my pride was poor. From that day, I made a decision. I would no longer measure my success by what I owned, but by the freedom I created. That's when I learned the 7-0-1-0-1-0-1-0 principle. Live on 70%, invest 10%, give 10%, and learn with 10%. It's simple math, but it's powerful philosophy. The 70% keeps you disciplined. The investment grows your future. Giving keeps your heart generous, and learning keeps your mind sharp. When I started this practice, I didn't have much. My 10% for investing wasn't impressive, and my 10% for giving seemed small. But the habit changed me. It forced me to prioritize, to plan, and to value every dollar. Over time, that structure turned into strength. Now, here's something people rarely think about. Every unnecessary possession is trapped capital. Every gadget you don't need, every luxury that doesn't serve you, is money sitting still, money that could have been working for you. Simplicity isn't a downgrade. It's an upgrade in awareness. When you simplify, you take control of your finances, your mind, and your future. The less clutter around you, the more clarity within you. I've seen people with very little live with incredible peace because they've learned that the art of living well is not adding more, but mastering less. Frugality, when practiced with purpose, becomes a form of power. Don't be ashamed of being careful with your money. Be proud of it. Frugality means you've chosen growth over gratification. It means you're strong enough to say not now, so you can say yes later to opportunity, to freedom, to your dreams. The poor chase comfort, the wise build capacity. You see, when you live below your means, you're not just saving money, you're buying time, flexibility, and peace of mind. You're creating space for opportunity to find you. Because the truth is, the wealthy don't spend to look rich, they spend to stay free. And freedom, not luxury, is the highest form of wealth. If there's one thing that changed the entire course of my life, it wasn't luck, and it certainly wasn't a raise, it was self-education. You can't grow your finances faster than you grow your mind. The mind is the soil from which every form of wealth is harvested. And if the soil is shallow, no amount of effort can produce a lasting crop. Most people stop learning the moment they leave school, but that's when learning should really begin. Formal education can help you earn a living, but self-education, what you read, what you listen to, what you study on your own, that's what helps you build a fortune. When I was young, I thought I was done learning once I had a diploma. I thought education was something you completed. But when I met my mentor, he looked me right in the eyes and said, if you want things to change for you, you have to change. And if you want to change, you have to learn. I didn't have much money then, but I found that books cost less than mistakes. So I started reading. I read about success, leadership, sales, philosophy, finance, anything that could help me understand why some people rise while others remain stuck. Every book became a conversation with someone wiser than me, and every page became a doorway to a better future. I began dedicating 1 hour each day to learning, an hour I could have wasted watching television or scrolling through distractions. I called it the hour of power. Sometimes I read, sometimes I listened to recordings, sometimes I studied biographies of people who built something from nothing. I wanted to understand their mindset, their strategy, their habits. I found that success leaves clues, and the more I studied those clues, the clearer my own path became. But here's what I learned quickly. Knowledge alone is not enough. Unused knowledge becomes mental clutter. It piles up and weighs you down. Learning only matters when it's applied. So every time I learned something new, I tried it. I tested it. Some things worked, some didn't, but each attempt sharpened me. I learned more from one action than from 100 theories. Wisdom doesn't come from knowing. It comes from doing, failing, adjusting, and trying again. The truth is, your income will seldom exceed your level of personal development. You can't out-earn your growth. If your skills, attitude, or mindset stay the same, so will your paycheck. That's why I always tell people, miss a meal if you must, but never miss your reading. Because a missed meal only costs you energy for a day, but a missed lesson could cost you opportunity for a lifetime. Every book you read, every lesson you learn, every hour you invest in your own mind compounds just like interest. One idea can change your future. One principle, applied consistently, can multiply your income tenfold. So start today. Set aside 1 hour for growth every day, no exceptions. Because when you feed your mind, you feed your fortune. If you want to make more, you must become more. It's one of life's unshakable laws. You're not paid for your time. You're paid for the value you bring to the marketplace. Time is equal for everyone, but value is not. Two people can spend the same 8 hours a day working, and one earns 10 times more than the other. Not because the hours were different, but because the value was. The marketplace rewards value, not effort alone. And that's good news, because it means you have the power to change your income by changing yourself. When I first started out, I was broke, struggling, and full of excuses. I thought life was unfair, that opportunity belonged to someone else. Then my mentor said something that struck me like a lightning bolt. If you want things to change for you, you've got to change. If you want things to get better, you have to get better. It sounded simple, but it was the key. He didn't tell me to beg for a raise or demand opportunity. He told me to earn it by increasing my value. That's when I realized the difference between survival and success is not what you do, it's what you become while doing it. You see, the person who earns minimum wage and the person who earns $1 million aren't separated by time, they're separated by skill. The one who learns how to communicate, how to sell, how to solve problems, how to lead others, that's the person the marketplace values most. If you work only on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work on yourself, you'll make a fortune. Start with one skill. It doesn't have to be grand or glamorous. It could be communication, organization, sales, or even empathy. Find something that solves problems and then master it. Practice daily. Read books about it. Take a free course. Volunteer or freelance just to build experience. Don't wait for profit before you build proof. Opportunity finds those who've prepared for it, not those who wait for it. When people see that you can solve problems effectively, they'll line up to pay you to do it. One of my first skills was sales. I wasn't good at it in the beginning. I was nervous, unsure, and afraid of rejection. But I studied those who succeeded. I watched how they spoke, how they listened, how they asked questions. I practiced, failed, learned, and tried again. Eventually, I discovered that selling wasn't about convincing, it was about understanding. When you learn to understand people, you'll never run out of opportunities. So the question to ask yourself every day is simple. What problem can I solve that others would pay for? That's where wealth begins. Don't chase money, chase mastery. The more valuable you become, the more value you'll attract. Remember, the marketplace doesn't pay for time, it pays for contribution, creativity, and consistency. The moment you decide to grow beyond your current self, your income begins to grow with you, become better, and everything around you will get better too. Because money doesn't flow to those who need it, it flows to those who've earned it by becoming someone worth paying. Adversity is not the enemy of wealth, it's one of its greatest teachers. Too many people look at poverty as a curse, as something to complain about, something to feel sorry for themselves over. But the truth is, Poverty, struggle, and hardship are not walls to stop you. They are the soil where strength, wisdom, and resilience grow. If you can learn to see difficulty as an instructor rather than an obstacle, you'll find that every setback carries a lesson, every failure contains a principle, and every low point can become a stepping stone toward a higher future. I remember my own early days, sitting at a tiny table with bills stacked high and my bank account dangerously low. I could have chosen despair, blaming circumstances, blaming luck, or blaming the world. But I learned quickly that complaining changes nothing. What changes things is perspective. I asked myself, what can I learn from this? How can this struggle make me stronger? And when I approached it that way, my mind started to shift from scarcity to possibility. Every small problem became a chance to think creatively, to stretch my abilities, to grow my patience. Adversity demanded innovation, and innovation created opportunity. Turning adversity into an asset begins with reframing your mindset. Instead of saying, "Why me?" say, "What is this teaching me?" Write it down. Record your lessons about patience, about resourcefulness, about the value of $1 and the importance of discipline. Those lessons are more valuable than any paycheck because they equip you for life, not just for survival. They shape the habits, mindset, and strategies that the wealthy rely on. Struggles teach you to prioritize, to conserve, to plan, and to execute in ways comfort never will. Another part of this philosophy is understanding the story your adversity can tell in the future. Every challenge you overcome becomes a narrative of growth and triumph that one day you can pass on. People pay attention to those who've walked through fire and emerged stronger. The experiences you endure now become the lessons you teach later. Your struggles are not just yours, they are seeds of mentorship, inspiration, and guidance for those who follow. Finally, remember that every difficulty comes with a choice: to let it harden you or to let it strengthen you. When you face scarcity or hardship, see it as a classroom, not a prison. Every obstacle is training, every disappointment a lesson, every delay an opportunity to refine your strategy. Those who learn to harvest wisdom from struggle don't just survive, they thrive. So don't curse the struggle. Lean into it, study it, learn from it. Let your hardship sharpen your vision, fortify your resolve, and prepare you for a future that abundance alone could never teach. Building wealth on a low income is not about relying on bursts of motivation or waiting for the perfect day to start. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like a spark in the wind. What sustains growth, what truly transforms a small income into a pathway to freedom, is creating systems that operate even when your willpower wanes. Systems turn chaos into consistency, unpredictability into reliability, and small daily efforts into extraordinary long-term results. I've learned through years of experience that trying to rely solely on discipline is like trying to carry water in a leaky bucket. You may succeed temporarily, but eventually, life's demands, distractions, and fatigue will drain your resolve. That's why the wealthy, even those who started with very little, focus not just on habits, but on systems. A system is a repeatable process that produces results automatically, removing the need for constant decision-making or emotional energy. It's the quiet engine running in the background while life happens. Take saving, for instance. When I began with almost nothing, I forced myself to set aside even a single dollar from every paycheck. At first, it felt trivial, barely noticeable. But over time, that small act, repeated and reinforced by a system, turned into a growing habit, a sense of ownership, and eventually a foundation for investment. Today, automation makes this easier. Automatic transfers into savings or investment accounts ensure that discipline occurs by default. You don't have to negotiate with yourself every month. The system does the work. Weekly review sessions are another powerful system. Pick a day, Sunday or Monday, and make it your money day. Review what came in, what went out, and where adjustments can be made. Track progress toward every goal, no matter how small. By checking in consistently, you catch leaks in your finances before they become crises. You begin to anticipate, plan, and adapt instead of reacting. This small system of accountability compounds into confidence and clarity. Finally, don't underestimate the power of checklists. Every financial goal, every savings target, every investment move can be broken into a simple sequence. When you follow it, you reduce mistakes and increase reliability. Systems, unlike motivation, don't burn out. They keep moving forward while you sleep, work, or even rest from your efforts. Remember, willpower is a spark. Systems are the fire that keeps you warm. Build them, follow them, and your small income can begin producing results far beyond what you ever imagined. Consistency beats brilliance every time. On a low income, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you must wait for opportunity to come knocking before you can succeed. But the truth is, the marketplace doesn't reward need or complaints. It rewards value. The sooner you understand that your most powerful leverage is the value you create, the sooner you begin to escape the poverty mindset. Even with very little money, you can start contributing something meaningful, and that contribution becomes the seed for your financial growth. I've seen it countless times. People who start with nothing but a willingness to serve find doors opening that were previously invisible. Value creation doesn't require a big budget or connections. It requires insight, effort, and a commitment to improvement. Start small. Offer a skill you already possess, a service to someone who needs it, or a simple product that solves a problem. It doesn't have to be perfect at first. In fact, perfection is the enemy of starting. Begin by helping one person, and then aim to serve the next better than before. Every small act of excellence builds your reputation, your skills, and eventually, your income. Ask yourself daily, how can I help one person today and get better at it tomorrow? That question shifts your focus from what you lack to what you can give. Even if no money changes hands initially, you are investing in your own growth, refining your craft, and learning the mechanics of service, sales, and impact. Each effort compounds, and before long, someone recognizes your value and is willing to pay for it. And when they do, it's not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of a higher level. Keep improving, keep learning, and keep delivering. Creating value is also about working on yourself more than your job. A paycheck can support you for a day, but developing skills, expanding knowledge, and building a reputation creates leverage that supports you for life. I remember early in my career, earning very little, but focusing on improving my communication, learning how to sell ideas effectively, and helping others solve their problems. The money didn't come immediately, but over time, my growing abilities became the currency that attracted opportunities and higher income. Remember, in the economy of life, contribution precedes reward. Those who focus on delivering value consistently, even from scarcity, eventually find that the marketplace will return to them tenfold. Work on yourself more than your job, give before you get, and the rewards will follow naturally. When living on a low income, it's tempting to think that any extra dollar earned should be spent immediately on comfort, gadgets, or small indulgences. But that thinking keeps most people trapped in the poverty mindset. The path to true financial freedom isn't about earning more to spend more, it's about turning each increase in income into a tool that works for you. Money spent on fleeting pleasures disappears in an instant, but money invested wisely compounds over time creating opportunities and security that last a lifetime. The first step is to resist the urge to upgrade your lifestyle with every raise or bonus. I've met many who, upon receiving a small increase, immediately inflated their spending, new clothes, a slightly nicer car, or dining out more frequently. That habit may feel rewarding temporarily, but it produces no lasting value. Instead, pause. Give yourself 6 months to live as you did before the raise. Treat that extra income as if it doesn't exist in your day-to-day life. By doing this, you create a buffer of financial discipline and learn to separate income from consumption. Next, redirect that additional money toward investments. Even small sums can grow significantly if placed wisely. Stocks, mutual funds, retirement accounts, or simple savings accounts all work as vehicles for turning income into lasting assets. The key is consistency. Automate the process so that as soon as money hits your account, a predetermined portion is moved into investments without temptation to touch it. Automation turns discipline into default behavior, removing the constant struggle of willpower. I recall starting with barely enough to cover my expenses, yet I committed to putting even a few dollars aside each week into a savings plan. It felt almost symbolic at first, but over time, those incremental contributions multiplied. The habit of consistently investing shaped my mindset. I was no longer just spending my earnings, I was building a future. This principle scales as your income grows. Each raise becomes a tool to strengthen your asset base rather than inflate your liabilities. Remember, wealth is not measured by what you can show to others, but by the freedom and security you create for yourself. Don't buy things to look rich. Invest so you can be rich. Every dollar placed into assets today is a soldier sent to work for you tomorrow, earning interest, creating opportunities, and buying back your time. When you adopt this mindset, every increase in income becomes a step toward financial independence, not a step into temporary comfort. The real luxury is not a bigger lifestyle, it's the freedom and power that come from owning your financial future. Relying on a single paycheck is one of the most dangerous traps anyone can fall into, especially when living on a low income. Life is unpredictable, jobs can be lost, hours cut, industries change, and if all your financial security rests on one source, you are walking a tightrope without a net. Wealth isn't created by luck or a single effort. It is built through diversity by creating multiple streams of income that support each other and continue to grow even when one falters. The first step is to recognize that you already possess the seeds for multiple streams of income. Every skill you have, every hobby you enjoy, and every area of knowledge you've cultivated can become an opportunity to earn beyond your main job. Take a moment to inventory what you can offer the marketplace. Maybe it's tutoring, graphic design, writing, crafting, or even consulting. The key is to start small with what you can do consistently and let it grow over time. Your side venture doesn't have to be perfect at first. It only needs to exist. Next, look at your money itself as a potential income stream. Even modest savings can be directed into investments that produce passive income. Stocks, bonds, index funds, and small-scale real estate investments allow your money to work while you sleep. The earlier you start, the more compounding works in your favor. Remember, the goal isn't to get rich instantly, it's to establish habits that create steady, growing income streams over months and years. Another powerful approach is to reinvest earnings from one stream into another. For instance, profits from a small side business can seed an investment account, which over time creates dividends and growth. That reinvestment compounds your wealth and diversifies your financial base further. Even on a low income, disciplined, incremental steps can lead to meaningful diversification. I began my early financial journey by carefully setting aside every extra dollar earned and using it to create small ventures that gradually grew into more substantial opportunities. Building multiple streams of income also changes your mindset. You start to see opportunity instead of limitation. You learn to leverage your time, skills, and resources creatively, understanding that money is a tool, not just a reward. Each stream reduces financial risk and increases freedom, giving you options that a single paycheck could never provide. Never stand on one leg financially. It can't hold you forever. By creating multiple streams of income, you protect yourself from uncertainty, cultivate resilience, and plant the seeds of wealth that grows steadily, ensuring you're building security, freedom, and opportunity for the long term. Managing every dollar is a skill, no doubt about it. On a low income, keeping track of expenses, avoiding unnecessary purchases, and sticking to a budget are essential for survival. But here's the truth. Budgeting alone will never create wealth. Controlling money is important, but creating money is what separates those who stay and struggle from those who escape it. If you want to move beyond poverty, you must shift your focus from merely managing what comes in to multiplying what you have. The first step is education. Don't be intimidated by words like stocks, real estate, or business ownership. Knowledge is your greatest leverage. Learn the basics of how money can work for you. Even with small amounts, you can begin to invest, buying a share of a company, contributing to a savings plan that earns interest, or investing in a micro-business opportunity. The goal isn't to get rich overnight, but to start thinking in terms of growth and creation. Next, start small. The temptation is to wait until you have more money to play the game, but the wealthy know that starting with little is better than waiting for a windfall that may never come. Invest $5, $10, or $20 in a low-risk option. Watch it grow, learn the process, and repeat. Confidence compounds alongside your money. Each successful step reinforces the mindset of a multiplier, someone who grows resources instead of letting them sit stagnant. Reinvest returns instead of spending them. The real magic of multiplication comes from compounding. Every dollar you put to work today can create more dollars tomorrow if it isn't consumed immediately. Reinvestment turns small gains into larger ones, and it builds momentum over time. It teaches patience, discipline, and vision, all essential tools for escaping the poverty mindset. I remember early in my own life, when resources were tight, I had to make choices between immediate gratification and long-term gain. The first time I took even a small portion of what I earned and put it into a simple investment, I felt a sense of ownership and empowerment that budgeting alone could never provide. That habit, repeated consistently, laid the foundation for financial growth that eventually allowed me to leverage opportunities far beyond my original income. You can't shrink your way to wealth, you must grow into it. Budgeting is about control, but multiplying is about creation. Every step you take to make your money work for you compounds into freedom, opportunity, and security. It begins with education, continues with action, and is strengthened by reinvestment. This is how low income becomes a platform, not a limitation, for building lasting wealth. We talk about money every day, but how many of us truly understand it? Not just how to earn it or spend it, but how it works, how it grows, and how it can work for us instead of against us. You see, wealth has a language of its own. Words like assets, equity, cash flow, and ROI aren't just jargon. They're the grammar and vocabulary of financial freedom. Ignorance in this language keeps people trapped, scrambling paycheck to paycheck, hoping for luck to change their lives. But fluency in the language of money opens doors that no raise, bonus, or lottery ticket ever could. The first step is education, and it doesn't require a college degree or a large bank account. Start simple. Commit to reading one financial book per month. Not fiction, not self-help fluff, but books that teach you how money moves, how wealth is built, and how it compounds over time. Each page you turn, each concept you grasp, is another tool in your financial toolkit. Knowledge like this transforms fear into confidence and confusion into action. Next, leverage modern technology. Tutorials, online courses, podcasts, and videos can teach investing, tax strategy, budgeting, and business models. The people who built wealth from nothing studied constantly, learning what others ignored. It's not just about learning for learning's sake, it's about applying. Understand how an asset generates income, how equity multiplies value, and how cash flow sustains freedom. Then take small steps to implement those lessons in your own life, no matter how modest your resources. Discussion is another crucial step. Don't shy away from talking about money. Find mentors, colleagues, or friends who know more than you. Ask questions, listen actively, and observe how they think about earning, saving, and investing. Money talks, but only if you speak its language. Being around people fluent in this vocabulary accelerates your own understanding. It's like immersion in a new language. You pick up nuances and strategies that books alone can't provide. I remember when I first began to pay attention to financial terminology, words I had heard all my life suddenly had meaning, and with that understanding came the power to make better choices. Suddenly, I could see opportunities where before there was only confusion. Each time I spoke confidently about cash flow or investment, I strengthened not only my knowledge, but my control over my financial destiny. If you can't speak money, you can't keep money. Learning its language transforms fear into clarity, scarcity into strategy, and uncertainty into opportunity. Speak it, understand it, and let it guide every financial decision you make. Wealth is often measured in dollars and assets, but the truest form of wealth isn't what you hold in your hands, it's what you leave behind. You can live comfortably, accumulate riches, and enjoy freedom, but if all of that disappears when you're gone, then the journey was incomplete. Designing a wealth legacy means thinking beyond yourself, thinking in terms of generations, systems, and values that continue long after your life. It's not just about living well. It's about creating a life and a system that keeps giving, teaching, and growing even when you're no longer here. The first step is protection. Your hard-earned assets, no matter how modest or vast, must be safeguarded. Create an estate plan or trust that ensures your resources continue to serve your goals. This isn't just for the ultra-rich, it's for anyone who wants their wealth to work for more than a moment in time. A simple plan can prevent your family from losing what you built, while also teaching them responsibility and foresight. Protection is the foundation of a legacy. It ensures continuity before it begins to expand. Equally important is education. True legacy isn't only about money, it's about knowledge, habits, and mindset. Teach your children, nieces and nephews, mentees, or anyone who will listen about the principles of money, work, and discipline. Share stories of your struggles, your wins, and the lessons learned from managing scarcity. When you pass on understanding alongside resources, you give the next generation the ability to multiply what they inherit. Knowledge is a form of wealth that compounds far beyond interest or dividends. Then, think beyond immediate family. Invest in businesses, causes, or communities that reflect your values. Choose ventures that not only generate income, but also contribute positively to society. When you align your investments with your principles, Your wealth becomes a force for good that outlives you and amplifies your purpose. Each dollar allocated thoughtfully is a seed planted for growth, for learning, and for impact that continues to ripple through time. I've learned from observing many who built fortunes yet left nothing behind. Money alone does not constitute a legacy. The real measure of prosperity is the extent to which your influence, guidance, and resources continue to shape lives long after your departure. Planning ahead, teaching intentionally, and investing with purpose turns wealth into a living, breathing system of continuity. You can't take it with you, but you can send it ahead. Every thoughtful choice you make today has the potential to grow into a legacy that educates, empowers, and enriches those who follow. Build not just for yourself, but for the future, and your impact will be timeless. As we come to the close of this journey together, remember this: wealth is not merely the accumulation of money. It is the result of your thoughts, your habits, your daily choices, and the systems you build to serve you. The difference between those who struggle and those who thrive is not luck or inheritance. It is intentional action, discipline, and the commitment to think differently today for a better tomorrow. Every dollar you earn, every hour you spend, and every skill you develop is either building your future or feeding someone else's. The call to action is simple, yet powerful. Start now. Track your money, even if it's just a little. Invest in yourself daily, even if it's just 15 minutes. Automate a small savings or investment plan and let it grow. Set clear goals with deadlines and break them into achievable steps. Surround yourself with people and environments that elevate your thinking. And most importantly, share your journey, your lessons, and your successes. Create a ripple effect that multiplies far beyond yourself. Your financial future is waiting, but it will not arrive by chance. Take command of your hours, your habits, and your mindset. Begin today, and let every choice you make become a step toward freedom, growth, and lasting legacy.